Yes, welcome to Anthro Abhyas series of videos. Now, the other second issue that we will raise in this series is about the Anthro syllabus, and we'll try to simplify Anthro syllabus for all those who are just beginning or all those who are mulling, all those who are ruminating over taking anthropology. So, we will try to understand and simplify the syllabus. I know the syllabus can get very complex for first timers, especially engineers, doctors or other students from other backgrounds who have never heard of anthropology and so on. So we'll try to break the syllabus down for you. Now in my courses here in La Excellence, in my anthropology courses, I organize the syllabus, the entire syllabus into 6 broad modules. We organize the syllabus into 6 broad modules so that syllabus can be easily handled by students. So these are the 6 modules that I handle in the subject, and each module is independent of the other, and we do the modules in a cyclical manner like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1. This is how we take the modules. The first module is called Sociocultural Anthropology. In Sociocultural Anthropology, this is there primarily in paper 1. This is seen primarily in paper 1. As you must be knowing, we have 2 papers of anthropology for the examination, anthropology paper 1 and paper 2. In paper 1, we have the theory of anthropology, both physical, archaeological as well as biological. In paper 2, we have mostly the Indian anthropology as well as tribal anthropology. So the first part, that is socio-cultural anthropology, is there mostly in paper 1, and here our focus will be on what things that we call as social institutions. Our focus will be on social institutions. Social institutions, now don't think of them as educational institutions or a play. Don't interpret the word institution to mean college or something. Institution means marriage, family, kinship, religion, economic systems, political systems, the very nature of society, its stratification, its hierarchy. All of this forms the basis of sociocultural anthropology. In fact, we begin the course with this part, and students thoroughly enjoy this because we are discussing things that are very much familiar to them. Marriage is familiar to you, family is familiar to you. It's not like you're reading about quantum mechanics or you're being compelled to read about machine learning. These are things that you are already familiar with because we all live in families and we all have kinship bonds and we all hope to get married some point of time. So, the core content of sociocultural anthropology is quite familiar to all of you, just that we will now study this familiar content in an academic setting. That's the only fundamental difference. And while studying some concepts through a formal way, we'll also run through various examples. We'll go through a range of examples to understand what each concept means, how each concept can be understood in a simplified manner. After studying the sociocultural anthropology, we then move to the next module called anthro-theories. Anthro-theories is also part of paper 1. It's also part of paper 1. And anthro-theories is actually the very core of anthro. It is what we call as the philosophical aspect of anthro-theories, are the philosophical aspect of anthro. Here in these theories, we will discuss the ideas of some people who contributed to the subject. We call them as thinkers. We will discuss some ideas of thinkers, how all these thinkers laid foundation, laid contribution to the development and growth of anthropology, and we will discuss the thinkers' lives, we will discuss their ideas, we will discuss the methods they use to study culture, and we will see, of course, no thinker is perfect. Each thinker has some limitations, and we'll see what are their flaws. So, the focus of anthro-theories is to take up some broad schools of thought, broad approaches, and under each approach, we will be we will be looking into the life, ideas and examples of a few particular people like anthropologists. So, we will discuss theories about 4 to 6 theories. Under each theory, you will have some 2 to 3 thinkers. So, this whole chapter is about various schools of thought and various personalities thinkers who contributed to the progress of these theories. And this is philosophical. Those who like philosophy and abstract thinking will enjoy this. And in fact, through this chapter, anthropology reveals itself to us. Here, it's a very light-hearted and easygoing discussion, but here is where the discussion gets deep. And anthro theory is by far the most important module in entire anthropology, because when we do this chapter thoroughly, this module thoroughly, you will be able to answer well questions not just from here. Anthro theory is like a theme. It's like an undercurrent which can be used to answer questions from different other chapters across both the papers. So you should be able to quote. Basically, you will have a lot of grip on these thinkers and you will be able to quote them and use them across the papers, and that will give you a solid foundation. After theories, we then move on to paper 2. Indian society is part of paper 2. Here, we will study and examine the various aspects of Indian society like caste system. We will discuss Indian villages. We will discuss the problems of Indian minorities. We will discuss the various traditions, rural cultures. We will look into Indian religions and their evolution. We will study the demographic structure of India, population growth, and so on. And then next we move to tribal India or tribes. This is also part of paper 2, and this forms the crux of paper 2. Many students enjoy this because so far we are all used to living in only our cultures. Now suddenly in this chapter on tribal India, we will be exposed to the culture of various other people called as tribes. We will begin to see how others can live very differently. How people like tribes share a very different way of life, a very different attitude to life, and still are in some ways better than us and probably happier than us. So we will discuss who are these tribal people in India, what is their social status, and what are the problems they are facing, what are the safeguards that we have for them, and how do we go about improving their lot. How do we go about improving the overall well-being of this weakest section of Indian society? And when we touch this, I'm sure students thoroughly feel their core of humanity touched when we discuss this topic. Because in tribes, we're talking about people who are very innocent, who are very vulnerable and prone to exploitation, who are honest, who live in forests and have a very close bond with nature. So we'll look at the lives of some very simple people, and the whole discussion touches the humanity in every person in the class. So after tribes, we'll then move to archaeology. In archaeology is part of both paper 1 and paper 2. Archaeology is part of both paper 1 as well as paper 2. And in archaeology, we will discuss in paper 1, archaeology, we will discuss at world level how culture evolved from Stone Age to agricultural revolution. And in paper 2, we will discuss how the cultural evolution happened in Indian context, starting from Stone Age, lower Paleolithic in India. We will go all the way till Neolithic, and then we will also discuss some events of Indus Valley civilization. So archaeology is there in both the papers. And finally, we will discuss physical anthropology. We will close the course with physical anthropology. In physical anthropology, we will begin with the journey of human evolution. After human evolution, we will then focus on not just human evolution, we will then look into various aspects of some basics of cell, and then we will look at human variation. After human evolution, we will look at examples, study some primates, we will look at how humans evolved from apes to present Homo sapiens. Then we will study some variations of present day people. Why do people have different skin colors? Why do they have different blood groups? What are the different ways in which people's growth and development happens in people? And what are the different levels of fertility? And finally, we will do some population studies. And last, we will conclude with applications of physical anthropology. How physical anthropology can have applications in different areas of life. So this is how we will study paper 2. So this essentially simplifies the whole syllabus that many students find daunting into a very simple structure. And in terms of examination weightage, sociocultural anthropology forms about 25% of the paper of weightage. Physical anthropology is another 25%. I mean to say, both these together form 25%. Indian society is another 20%. Tribal India is another 20%, and archaeology is about 10%. In terms of examination weightage, so we have 2 papers, each paper is 250 marks, and in terms of weightage, this is how we can understand each paper. So I hope this helps you understand the syllabus in an easy and simplified structure.